Hi everyone, my name is Nicola Gencarelli and I lead the Technological Research Department ASPHI Foundation, an Italian non-profit dedicated to digital inclusion. My work mainly focuses on exploring how emerging technologies like AI assistive tools can break down barriers for people with disabilities. At ASPHI, we act as a workshop for social innovation. We research, test, and implement digital strategies that try to transform school, work, and daily life into a more accessible environment.
Have you ever wondered, what if technology wasn't just a tool we use, but a space we could actually live in? A space that truly adapts to us instead of forcing us to adapt to it. Well, today we're going to dive into our vision for assistive technologies. We called it inclusive digital habitats. And it's our attempt to flip the script on digital accessibility. So think about this for a second. When was the last time you got really frustrated with an app or a device that just wouldn't cooperate? What if our digital world was built from the ground up to support us seamlessly? That's the idea we're going to explore together. For over 40 years now, our mission at ASPHI has been all about using digital technology to help people with disability to be included in every part of life: school, work, daily life. In the traditional social health framework, if you have trouble with something, you get a single isolated tool for that single problem. It's like having a magnifying glass for reading. It works, sure. But what if your whole environment was designed to help you from the get-go? That's the shift we're seeing right now. We need to move beyond these one-off tools and starting to design entire ecosystems that support us everywhere. And this really gets to the heart of what we're talking about today. It's a change in how we even define accessibility. We are, in a way, shifting our thinking from tools to habitats. So what exactly is an inclusive digital habitat? Well, it's way more than just a smart home or a bunch of tools and devices. It's about creating whole physical, social, and virtual environments that are interconnected and inclusive by design. Place where the physical and virtual world, all our digital and analogic tools, people, and even artificial agents are all working together. For decades, assistive technology was something designed for people, kind of handed down to them. But we need to change the whole game. We need to design technology with people, a co-design process in order to create solutions that are actually tailored to what people really need and want. This co-design, it happens in our ASPHI lab, our living lab, where we get to work with people with disabilities to research, innovate, and test out new ideas. Let's take a look at the key technologies that can powering this whole thing. Generative artificial intelligence is, of course, a huge piece of the puzzle. AI can theoretically be a powerful accessibility tool. But, and this is a big but, there's a major challenge: dataset bias. Think, for example, about the voice assistant on our phone. It was trained on tons of data with a huge majority of English male white speakers. It means it often fails when it interacts with someone who has different voices, like a speech difficulty. People with disabilities are hugely underrepresented in the data set that we use to see the world and creating AI tools. To get around that bias, we build our own focused AI projects. Understand Me is a project where we're training an AI-based speech recognition specifically on atypical Italian voices so it can understand and support disabled users with speech challenges. Or Clear Reading, a tool we build in order to use AI to make Italian complex text easy to understand for people with cognitive impairments. In a way, we have to design the tools to fill the gaps that mainstream tech just leaves wide open. But of course, AI can't do it alone. It's just one part of the puzzle. We've also got the Internet of Things, IoT, which connects everyday objects, lights, doors, you name it, and creates environments that can support us. And then there's virtual and augmented reality, which let us create immersive experiences for training, rehabilitation, or even for visiting places that might be physically out of reach. All right, enough with the the theory. Let's see how this all comes together in the real world. Let's take a little trip to a possible case study project of an inclusive agritourism farmhouse. A farmhouse is a perfect real-world example of a very challenging, inclusive digital habitat. So if you're the manager of a place like this, you can't just start buying gadgets. You've got to ask some big questions first. First one, is this building a protected historical site? 2, what's the land like? Is it rough? Is it hilly? And 3, what's our main business here? Are we all about the restaurant or is it the overnight stays? The answers to these questions are going to dictate everything that comes next. I present you 6 possible different visions for making a farmhouse accessible. We'll see the high-tech version and a practical low-cost solution that gets you there too. Okay, scenario A. Let's start with something we can all relate to. The restaurant menu. Imagine you're a guest with some cognitive or sensory needs. How can we redesign that dining experience to be way more accessible? The high-tech version uses generative AI. A guest taps their phone on an NFC tag on the menu, and it simplifies the text based on their personal accessibility profile, but then look at the low-cost version. It's just a simple QR code that links to a web page. The guest can use tools like Google Lens to have it read aloud. So simple, but so effective. But this raises a really important point. How do you simplify all that rich culinary language without losing the cultural storytelling of the food? It's a classic balancing act between making something accessible and keeping it authentic. Okay, let's see what's next. So, scenario B takes us into the guest room itself. The idea here is to make the suite responsive. We want the room to become an active participant in making the stay easy and comfortable also for people with motor impairments. And again, we see a spectrum of solutions. The high-end habitat could use offline voice commands for total privacy and even privacy-safe radar for things like fall detection, so it knows if someone's in trouble without using any cameras. But on the flip side, you can achieve a lot of the same stuff with off-the-shelf smart plugs, some smart bulbs, and a regular voice assistant like Alexa or Google Home. So what about the outdoors? Think about a beautiful but really hilly vineyard. How can we make sure a guest with mobility impairments gets to experience that? The intent is to give people spatial agency, the freedom to explore a space. The high-tech version could be AR glasses to explore a 3D model of the landscape, and you might even get haptic feedback to feel what's happening. The low-cost version. Use your own phone with a cheap Google Cardboard viewer to watch 360-degree videos of the farm. Okay, let's talk about communication. For guests who might have speech disorders, just making a simple request can be exhausting. This next scenario is about creating an AI concierge to help with that. The whole point here is to reduce what's called communication fatigue. The integrated habitat would have a specialized AI that's actually trained on atypical speech patterns, so it can understand things that a normal system wouldn't. A low-cost version could be a tablet with free communication apps, or even just a WhatsApp business chatbot with preset buttons for common requests. All right, back outside we go. This time we're talking about making the heritage trails on the property safe and easy to explore for blind and low-vision guests. How do we do that? The concept here is ambient guidance, basically technology that only steps in when you need it. The high-tech version could be a network of sensors that creates virtual rails that guide us with 3D audio and a haptic belt that vibrates to tell you which way to go. The low-cost version uses physical things like high-contrast ropes to follow and QR codes that you can scan to hear audio descriptions. And for our last scenario, let's focus on supporting elderly guests, particularly those who might be dealing with mild cognitive decline. The goal is to give them just a little bit of support to help them feel independent and confident during their stay. The key idea is something called contextual scaffolding, which is a way of saying help that shows up right when you need it. So the high-tech habitat uses vision AI. It can see that you're looking at, say, the coffee machine, and it projects AR instructions right onto the appliance. Meanwhile, the low-cost version uses physical guides, like high contrast stickers on buttons and simple motion sensor night lights. Okay, so we've just gone through 6 hypothetical scenarios. Let's pull back now and get a bird's eye view of all these possibilities together. This table gives us an overview of all 6 scenarios, showing how hard it is to implement and what the relative cost is. And I think the biggest takeaway from this is that inclusion is not an all or nothing proposition. There are real meaningful things we can do at every level for every budget. It all comes down to one goal: ambient inclusion. That means the technology stays invisible when it's not needed, but becomes a powerful lever for participation the moment a barrier is encountered. It's not about cluttering our houses, offices, and public spaces with gadgets. It's about weaving help so seamlessly into the background that it just disappears, ready to pop up and lend a hand the very instant it's needed. Now that is inclusive design